Hi, welcome to the Lisa Saunders Show. I'm Lisa Saunders, and today our show is going to be about healing, providing healing. I have two very nice healers here. I have Lee Paradis or Paradis. You said I can call you either
way.
one. That's so cute because usually people are so crazy about their name. You got to say it this way. I love Lee Paradis. That's kind of cool. Horses Healing Humans, and I just remember when you opened up. It was a couple years ago.
5 years.
5 years. Because I know that I was still fairly new to Mystic when I moved here 6 years ago, and I think I heard about you or met you at the Arts Festival, and that's where I think that's where I saw you again, was at the Arts Festival. And my mom's gonna be so excited to watch this show because she absolutely loves horses, misses them, grew up with them, and I have an actual irrational fear of horses. So
then you should come together.
What?
You should come together.
I should. Next time my mom visits me, can we come see you?
Absolutely.
All right.
She
would love to do that. She would love to see you. She can't really get on a horse anymore. She's got arthritis. But did you say that you have something that's a fake horse that people can ride?
We have a wooden horse, and arthritis isn't a complicating factor for riding.
Okay.
It actually can help.
All right. Well, maybe I'll talk her into it.
Yeah.
Because she does miss riding. And Debra, you're a singer-songwriter, and I've had you on, I think this is the third or fourth, something like that. You're just a fabulous performer. I love to have you on, and I think it's really cool that you're the former lead singer of the Rolling Stone magazine. I keep calling it Rolling Stones, but it's Rolling Stone magazine band. You were the lead singer for that. How long did you do that?
Well, actually, it was the main event of that band was the Christmas party in 1979.
Okay.
But it was such a big event. In fact, Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones danced while I sang, which is always fun to tell that story.
Well, actually, I've never heard that story.
Oh, it's a great story. I mean, there's so many facets to it, but suffice it to say, because it's so veering off the healing stories that we want to tell today. But I like to say that back in those days, I was a bit of a hippie, and I was studying astrology, and I remember tapping Mick on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, Mick, are you into astrology?" Because I was so anxious to tell him how much I knew about it and comparing my chart to his. And he said, "Oh, I hate astrology." And he turned away, and that was it. So that was but at least he danced while I sang. So that was exciting.
That is amazing. You've had some major people appreciate your work. Wayne Dyer.
Oh, yes. I'm very, very proud of that.
And I love in your little video, people can find it on your website. You're going to sing a song later in the show because it kind of relates to the two of you about cancer survivors. But anyway, she has a great video of how that was put together, and she actually has her singing for him at a conference and the whole audience being wowed. So you've got some great stuff on film.
It's great footage. It really is.
And
it's wonderful.
You now write for causes. I mean, you also have some mainstream love stories and thoughtful songs. But you write for causes, and there's a song that you did that I heard when I first met you, "A Voice for Sam," and I could barely listen to it because it made me think of my daughter who passed away, and she was never able to speak. And because I saw you a friend of yours did a cancer surviving type video showing flashcards on cancer healing or how to get diagnosed to your song, I asked you if I could do my daughter's story because I'm trying to raise awareness for the disease that caused her disabilities, which was cytomegalovirus. And so I want to thank you so much that you let me use your song. So Frank is going to show us my daughter's story to Debra's song, "A Voice for Sam," that you wrote for your nephew.
My nephew Sam?
Right.
Yes.
Can I tell you that I want to go now when I cannot find the words? The other kids are playing all around me. I'm alone and something hurts. I'm a boy who's feeling scared of all the noises in my head. I can hear you, but I know you don't hear me. My mom is always so creative, finding new things we can try. Dad comes home at night with hope and fearful eyes he tries to hide. And my brother's on the run. I know it can't be too much fun. It's not easy living with a boy like me. There's a voice for Sam and all the others like him. We need to understand it's just who he is. He needs us to find a way in. I know you're trying and I feel all the love, but I still need to ask for more. When you see me spinning and I'm jumping to a rhythm on my own, please be patient as you can and accept me as I am. I'm still changing, so don't give up on me. There's a voice for Sam and so many others like him. We've gotta do all that we can. Make sure that it shows. He needs us to know we're there for him. The ways of those like Sam are full of mystery. Let's unlock the gates of silence, find a way to set these children free. There's a voice for Sam and too many more just like him. Try to understand. It's just where he is. He needs us to find a way in. Be a voice for Sam. 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 Be a voice for Sam.
Well, Deborah, that's the first time I
That's
ever
beautiful.
saw it.
Wow.
That was beautiful. Your
Oh,
music
just-
fit, even though it was a voice for Sam. I feel like it's a voice for all children who can't speak
Right. I'm
and have something to say. So thank you for your work doing music like that.
I'm so moved by your courage and how, I mean, that's the thing about you that I was drawn to the most, that, you know, you're one of those people that takes an experience that's so challenging, and that's beyond what some of us can fathom, and you want to make a difference and keep changing the world and keep your faith. It's just, it's beautiful.
Oh.
So I'm really honored.
Well, thank you for letting me use that song. And I feel like Lee is in the same situation. You were a dentist, right?
Dental hygienist.
A dental hygienist, which requires manual dexterity.
Lots of it.
And can you just tell us how you got into what you do in horses, healing humans?
A car accident. So I was driving to work one day, and early in the morning, and a guy pulled out in front of me. I had the right of way, and had he kept going, I might have clipped his rear bumper, but he stopped, and so I T-boned him. And I had a frontal lobe traumatic brain injury and bilateral carpal tunnel injuries because I braced on the steering wheel. And it caused a lot of dizziness for a number of days afterwards, and during that time I fell. I got dizzy, I fell, and hit the back of my head against a stone wall, so I had a secondary TBI. So my entire brain swelled, And so, the swelling takes a long time. So I didn't have any real symptoms for the first few days, but they gradually got worse and worse. After a couple of weeks, I had almost no use of my hands at all, and
it's called what?
And
Did
carpal tunnel injury.
Injury.
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right.
Yeah.
You had no use of your hands.
Yeah.
All right. And then,
I was pretty cognitively impaired. I had a lot of difficulty making any kind of decisions, no memory, aphasia. I had
that
no
mean?
words. No words.
okay.
The words wouldn't come, and I couldn't. It was right there, but I couldn't recall it. I still have some of that from time to time. So for about a year, I wasn't really able to do much of anything. I was at home. It was hard to answer the phone because the processing delay was so severe that it would take me too long to figure out what to say, if I could even say it. Writing checks was difficult. I couldn't read at all. Just this last year, I was able to start reading again.
Wow.
Because the comprehension wasn't there.
You couldn't read at all?
I couldn't
in
read
all
at
that
all.
time?
I could read technical stuff, but I couldn't read fiction
Really?
because I couldn't follow the storyline.
Oh,
I'd have to go
wow.
back and read it again and again and,
And that's
again.
come back now?
I'm able to read again. That's wonderful. Yeah,
Oh,
that was a
thank
big part
goodness.
of my life that, I had kind of lost.
Oh, I can't
Oh, wow.
imagine that.
And then you.
So
Did you say what do I do or how?
I said that a lot. Yeah. Therapeutic writing was the only therapy that I ever really was able to participate in. They did a lot of testing, a lot of machines, a lot of tests. Never recommended any kind of therapy at all. It's like, it's just going to take time. So I had been a writer all my life, and I went down to High Hopes in Old Lyme and started working towards my therapeutic writing instructor certification because that required me to use my brain. I had to do technical reading, I had to do some writing, and I just needed to exercise my brain a lot to get those cognitive skills back. And also the balance and the hand strength. When I first got back on a horse, I couldn't stay on without assistance. I needed tennis balls on my reins to be able to hold the reins because I had no grip whatsoever. So I lost my mind and my grip at the same time.
Now, so you were doing therapeutic writing then with somebody else doing it with you, and you. I was reading your website, and so this is all a science, or I don't forget what you called it, but you had a fancy name.
Equine assisted activities and therapy. Is that the
Yeah.
one you're
Wow.
looking for?
See, you can recall that. Okay, so then there's specific training, and this is what helps. Who are you working with? You have all kinds of events.
All kinds of people.
All kinds of people with all kinds of programs.
Physical, cognitive, and emotional challenges.
And why do you think
So-
a horse helps? Well, it was interesting because, like I said, I'm afraid of actual horses, but you're talking a lot about just the manual thing and balancing and there's just...
Yeah, the motion of the horse, it's a three-dimensional motion of the horse, actually replicates walking. So when the rider is on, especially at the walk, you're stimulating all of those neural pathways. So for somebody with paralysis, for instance, you can start rebuilding some of those damaged nerves, or helping to create better motion in joints, hip rotation and mobility, strength, all that stuff. It's
Wow. So that's interesting.
When you get on, you'll find out.
Well, do you have a horse for babies, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like a bunny hill?
We have a couple.
They're called ponies.
Oh, no, they're the worst.
No.
They're the
Oh,
worst.
they
They're
are?
so
Okay.
hard. We have a wooden horse called an equicizer. He doesn't bite or kick. He doesn't cost anything to feed whatsoever, and he loads in the trailer like a dream. But this is a piece of medical equipment, basically, an apparatus that we can use for clients who have a fear of horses or for whatever reason are not able to be mounted on a live horse. They might be over the weight limit. They might be too tall or too heavy for us to be able to adequately support. They may have physical conditions that preclude being on horses. There are some contraindications. So we can still provide some of the same therapy. It's not exactly the same motion, but it's similar. So we have that, and then we have another piece of equipment called a home horse, which is, it looks like, it's a beautiful piece of sculpture. It looks like a saddle on one of those half-round balls, you know, the balance balls.
Yes.
And that actually provides a whole different type of motion. It's more three-dimensional, like the actual horse is. So we use
And there
that
must
for
be
balancing.
something emotional for people like my mother who actually really like
Well,
horses.
that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah,
I
well,
was reading your website. Yes, they are not. I mean, I actually have met. I did meet a horse I liked. I have met a few. It's just that I never had them. You know,
Well,
it's on my
you need to come meet
grandparents'
Hans.
farm. Okay.
Hans is our little Norwegian fjord. He's a very sleepy guy.
Sounds
He
good.
doesn't put any more energy into things than he must, but he can when he needs to. But mostly he just wants to stand and be loved on and sleep
Aw.
and eat.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah, yeah, he's perfect. As a general rule, the bigger horses are the gentler ones, but they're
Okay.
intimidating because they're so
Well,
big.
so that's the thing. My problem is probably my grandparents were always sticking me on a pony when I spent my summers there. So I'm little, they stick me on a pony, and I was afraid of it. And then they graduate me to a bigger horse. I don't know. It just, I never got that feeling. But I know a lot of people have
Not
that
all
feeling.
horses are like ours. Ours
No, I know,
are
I know, like-
pretty reliable.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you wouldn't have a horse that was. You
No, it's
know,
a pretty
like
extensive.
rodeo,
It's
wild.
a very extensive process that they go through before they're accepted into
Oh,
the program.
what is that process? Like
Well, the first piece is the phone call, and we screen out about 90% on the first phone call
How can you?
as inappropriate because
Really?
they have either age or size or a medical history. If they have certain lamenesses, they're just not appropriate. They need to be sound. They need to be of a certain size and shape. And we may need different sizes and shapes at different times. So when we're screening, we're looking for something fairly specific as a general rule. They need to have a specific job, or be able to do 2 or 3 jobs. So they may work in the mounted program. They might do carriage driving. They might do psychotherapy. We might
How does
choose
the
them
horse
just to
give you
work with our
psychotherapy?
veterans. The horses. That's the whole emotional thing.
Right.
So there's a deep connection. The horse and human interaction is a very deep connection as a usually.
Well, could you talk a little bit about what we were talking before? I was really interested. We didn't get to get into it more. When you work with cancer survivors, because that's something that we have in common.
Yeah.
So how is this equine therapy particularly effective for cancer survivors, or how does it apply?
It's a very particular protocol that we use, and we do use the equicizer to get them started with that, because there are certain positions and postures and movements that we're going to use with a cancer survivor. And the whole therapeutic process is designed not only to desensitize the surgical site, but also to help them to reconnect, because they become so disconnected through that whole illness and treatment process. And so they are able to connect with the horse. It's a body-to-body contact, so they're on the horse backwards, reclined, with their head on the horse's rump, walking to music and regulating their breathing and their heart rate to match the horse's. Very, very powerful.
Oh, I can
But
see,
it helps
yeah.
to stimulate the vagus nerve. It loosens up all of the muscles. The desensitization to the surgical site is pretty critical. And one of the criteria, which I found interesting when I was researching this, was that the horse must be beautiful. You can't use an ugly horse.
Really? And who decides?
Well, that's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I can't imagine an
some
ugly
horses, I think,
horse.
I've seen a couple ugly horses.
have you? Okay.
They're out there, but there aren't many.
Well, actually, Debra, you kind of combined beauty with your song for cancer survivors in your friend's book. I mean, in the images she took. 'Cause,
Thank you. That's a nice way to put it.
Her images are beautiful. Have you had a chance to look at her
I
book?
did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful images with the song that you wrote for cancer survivors, and I'm hoping you'll play it.
Of course.
You just
Yeah, I'd
happen
be
to
happy
bring your guitar, right?
Well, you asked me to.
I did.
Okay.
There you are.
Well, that's a nice way to put it, because we certainly, it's about cultivating gratitude for each moment. And there's certainly, my friend Monica was a photographer who helped bring attention to the beauty visually in every moment as a photographer. And I got to look at the world differently after knowing her. And so we put this book together around her photography and the lyrics of the song.
So you have lyrics on each page, just to give people an idea. On each page, correlating to the photo, was Monica...
Well, we kind of matched it in a way that each under each photo was a little description of how Monica related to that photo and some of her experience of taking it. But the lyrics of the song are illustrated by the photos. So there's a symbiotic relationship.
There is, it's a beautiful one. And when you gotta, anyway, I'll let you play. I want to hear it.
Thanks. So this is giving a voice to cancer survivors. Please don't offer sympathy. It's hard for me to hear how you feel sorry. Some say we're closer to a cure each day, but still my body turns away to betray me. What I really want is for you to know just what it is when my story's told that sustains me. It's a strength that somehow makes its way through all the words and the simple faith that I'll make it. Some say cancer cannot cripple love, shatter hope, or be anything but angry. When you work so hard just to stay alive, you need a reason pushing you to strive to keep going. It's a message, it's a wake-up call, it's a plea to understand it all and find meaning. For the scary roller coaster ride and the hope that never leaves my side for long. In each moment we're alive, with every chance we let slip by. There's something to remind us why we're here. In each moment we're alive, in what it takes to have survived. The beauty of our presence is so clear. Counting off my milestones, count on friends and loved ones to stick by me. I'll keep holding on to miracles, better still the strength of will to beat this. I can't believe I went through all this pain to say that it's been all in vain. It's changed me. Now I spread the word of what I know, of what it means to take it slow and be grateful. For each moment we're alive, for every breath, with every sigh. How the world will be so different from now on. In each moment we're alive, I want to feel my heart's desire. Toss caution to the wind and reach beyond. In each moment we're alive, we follow joy, we carry pride, empowered to be all we're meant to be. In each moment we're alive, from everything that can inspire. Trust that life will give us what Thank you. Thanks for letting me play it again.
Well, I love it. There's actually a lot of songs I love. We don't have time. But that's just very moving. Is that one of the ones that moves you? I don't know. This is your most recent For a Cause song, isn't it? Or have you written something after
No,
this?
I think, actually, no, I think, I'm trying to remember the sequence now, but I think I might have written Habitat for Humanity song after that, Decent Shelter, because I was volunteering at a restore. But this one grew because Monica had gotten ill and her cancer had metastasized, so I wanted to help her leave a legacy. And then the project just grew, and then I partnered with Cindy Sheridan Murphy, who was a guest on this show also, and who's a survivor, and I began to represent loving caregivers, and she was the cancer survivor. And then we started creating workshops, and then it just started growing and morphing. And then I met Wayne Dyer, and he loved the song, and he endorsed the book. So it just grew, and now I'm trying to publicize the book. And Breast Cancer Awareness Month is coming up, the season where there's lots of Relate for Life events, and it's just a good time to try to get the book out there as much as possible, to cultivate gratitude and support research. And it's a project that will always be special to me. Of course, as you know, I lost both my parents to cancer, and so it feels really good to have something so tangible, a book, a coffee table style book, a gift book, and it includes music, and I feel really good about it.
Well, it's good
So,
people can hold it and look at it
yeah.
and feel. They can read the words while they're listening. Because on your CD, you have nine other songs that come with the book.
Mm-hmm.
You have that song, plus you have. Do you have the Voice for Sam on that?
Yeah,
the
Voice for Sam is on there,
on
and
that.
the Habitat for Humanity song, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and a song I wrote for actually my parents' 50th anniversary that could be for any couple that's been together for a long time. The child abuse song, I think, is on another CD. I re-recorded a certain number of them just to have, some people had suggested I archive a lot of the Cause songs.
Okay,
So-
now we have 2 minutes left, and I want to spend this time. Both of you have events coming up related to cancer survivors or other things, but you have a minute each. Tell me what you have.
Well,
quickly. It's-
coming up for the Cancer House of Hope, Cindy and I will be doing a workshop, and we're partnering with Eileen Kaplan, who is also a cancer survivor and a comedian who's hysterical. So we're doing that in the area of Springfield, Massachusetts, and you can get that information on my website,
Okay.
DebraSong.com. And that's September 24th. The last Saturday in October, we were just invited to do another event for breast cancer awareness in East Haven, in a beautiful waterfront spot. That's, I can't think of the name of it at the moment. That's also
It's on the
going
website.
to be on my website.
All right, and well, we want to get to you before we run out. So
Yeah, we have a couple things coming up too. We have our open house, our fall open house is next Saturday, the 10th, from 3 to 5. We're doing a horse show
10th of September.
The week after that, we are working with the Assisi Institute and doing a conference on trauma of various types. We'll probably do a demo on how we work with cancer survivors at that. And then we have our annual Farm to Table fundraising dinner on the 18th
Of September.
of September.
Okay.
A few tickets left for that. And then in October, we have a wellness fair scheduled. And in November, we're working with a number of veterans organizations to do
I'd love to have you on another show. We could talk about that too. But thank you so much for coming on. And
Thanks for
I
having
look
me.
forward to watching this. Well, thank you for joining us on the Lisa Saunders Show, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to look at their website so you can see everything they were talking about and the events.